2024 was a big year for Roblox events, and honestly, I'm glad for that. So far, we've had 4 events throughout 2024, and in December, there is evidence to be another. While some of them have been great, other events have been lacking, and felt like something was missing. This recent event, I realized that all the ones leading up had one major thing that made them feel terrible, and that's what I'd like to discuss today. Before we get into the video, I have 2 things I would like to talk about. The first is that I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and I would really appreciate it if you would like the video and sub. And on December 28th, I am hosting a $300 Robux tournament on Twitch. If you're interested, the description will have a Discord link where you can get more info. Hope to see you there! With that said, let's get into the events. On March 15th, we got the first event of 2024, which was The Hunt. If you have no idea how this event worked, basically there was a main lobby that connected many different games, and in each game taking part would have its own individual quest that you would have to complete. Once you earn enough completion badges, inside the lobby you'd be able to unlock items. To me, this event was so much fun, and I like the idea of having to play through different games and finishing a quest to get a token to earn items. Inside the event was 100 games, and there were 7 earnable items. My personal problem with this event was the games themselves. While some of the games inside made it a cool opportunity to get players to try out their new games, like Arsenal making a custom quest and Doors making a new mode, others decided to use it as an opportunity to make some money from people playing by making the quest earned once you are in the game for a certain amount of time. Some notable games that did really well were The Strongest Battlegrounds, Doors, and Arsenal, and Combat Warriors, which actually felt like they put their all into it, while games like Twilight Daycare, Pool of Sword, and War Tycoon felt like there was no effort at all. As mentioned before, the hub for the lobby was really not that good at all. There was nothing to do inside of it, and the only reason to be in there was just to see what kind of games were inside the event. This was probably the worst lobby for the events, so I'm glad they fixed that later on, but for the first events, I would probably say it was a lot of fun, and while the items weren't too crazy, I felt like there was an effort put in by the developers, and it was fun overall. It was a pretty good start, and the things that needed to be worked on were noticeable, so the Roblox team at least knew what to change. The next event was the Classic, which was very hyped up in teasers. People have a crazy obsession when it comes to old Roblox, so they were really excited to see what would come out. What came out though was very interesting in my opinion. Out of every event so far in 2024, I think this lobby might be the best. Like the Hunt, the way this event worked was you played games that were part of the event, and when you completed them, you earned items. In my opinion, the earnable items were a little better than the Hunts, but weren't something too crazy that I really wanted. The problem this event really faced though was, like the name suggests, you would expect old Roblox games that are from that era. That was not the case at all, and the game choices felt random. A lot of the games participating were newer, popular ones, and it bothered a lot of people. Some games that were part of it that were new were A Dusty Trip, Dress to Impress, Toilet Tower Defense, and Blade Ball, which in no way are classic games. People were mostly upset about this due to the fact that the glory days would finally be celebrated, but they were completely neglected instead. Although these problems were bad, I really do think the lobby was amazing. The amount of stuff you could do and the minigames were a highlight for me, and I remember spending a couple of hours in it just playing and exploring whatever I could find, which is probably my highlight from this event. The games is up next, and honestly, this was the worst event in my eyes. The gimmick of this event was that there was a lobby that of course had a lot of different games that were taking part in it, but at the start you would be forced to choose a team that had different Roblox content creators a part of them. In concept, this sounded good, but people started choosing the game of the YouTuber they liked, and once a team had a giant lead over the others, people just started going with the team that was winning. So it just caused a huge imbalance, and this led to the Creecrafts team winning with no competition. There was a playable lobby in this one, but to me it just felt so boring and underwhelming. In every other event I would look around, but the stuff to do felt like it just lacked a reason to do it, or just not fun in general. Like, I know there was multiple obbies, but I was just really not that interested in that. I could not really bother to play it, so out of all events this is 100% my least played, and I could not be bothered to try at all. At least for the others I would want to get the items, but these Roblox items were so ugly and unwearable I felt no desire. All of these factors together would lead to the worst event of 2024, and I lost hope for Roblox events until October of this year. The Haunt is our most recent event and was a horror themed one. When I first started seeing teasers for this event, I was very excited, since a horror Roblox one was the most unique out of all the others. When you first would load into the lobby, the mansion created was awesome to see and made me even more excited. Like the previous events, I expected to see games I would have to complete to earn items, until I found out this event wasn't like that at all. For some reason, the Roblox team decided to put games in the lobby still, but instead of having to complete them, the point of the event was that you'd go into one of these pre-selected games and take a picture of your avatar with whatever the prompt was of the day, like monster or cute. In my opinion, this was a terrible event to create, but at least it had easy to earn items. All the people did was upload PNGs onto a shirt and zoomed into a horror icon instead of actually dressing up their character. The multiple games felt terrible to play through since there was really no reason to include them except for a background for photos. But then again, since people just zoomed into their shirts, that wasn't even used either. There seemed to be a whole misunderstanding for some of the Roblox teams like Pressure, where they created a whole mode for what they assumed would be like the previous events, but then it was completely useless to it. This event just felt really messy, and the gimmick was probably the worst. In my opinion, the lobby and especially the items saved the event, because both were amazing. When I first saw the items, I knew I wanted to complete this event due to how well they looked and the fact that the modelers inside of the community were the ones to make it. The lobby also looked amazing and had fun things to do inside of it, which was lacking inside of the last event. Overall, although I had high expectations for the Haunt, I still think it was probably the second event best due to how those two factors carried it. The gimmick of this event was really the weak link, and I felt like if they just kept with the developer quest, it would have been number one. With all those stated, that's every event of 2024 for now. There's a rumor to be a Christmas one, and if there is, I kind of have hope, but I hope Roblox is learning from these events. Every event has approved except the games, but even then there was a new feature that was added that went well, like the boss fight. I really do think that if Roblox listens to the feedback the community gives, it can have awesome items, good games that actually put effort into the quest, and a lobby you can spend lots of time in playing. That's all I had to say, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!